There's something scary in the sky, beyond our reach, beyond our control, and beyond our technological abilities. And unknown beings pose a threat to our peaceful existence.
These types of sightings should be viewed with deadly seriousness. It's our lives that we're really dealing with here.
It's time to look at the sky in a different way. And that's exactly what we're doing.
The U.S. government is actively investigating the UFO phenomenon.
You question everything that you knew.
Alien encounters are no longer just for fiction writers.
Where before it might be career suicide to even talk about UFOs, it's finally coming together as the start of a new science.
And at the heart of this new science is a stack of emotional testimonies from military personnel, now declassified for the world to hear. From the deck of one of America's most advanced warships, Navy veteran Omar Lara has a very personal and incredible UFO story to tell.
Disbelief, what? What was that? Out of nowhere, this object just drops down. Its maneuverability is nothing I've ever seen in my 10 years in the United States Navy.
Omar Lara was stationed on the USS Nimitz, servicing the fastest planes on the planet.
The USS Nimitz is like a mobile air base. Very important nuclear-powered vessel for the United States Navy.
If the United States has to engage in any combat situation, the Nimitz fleet will go to that location to stop any threat.
In early December 2004, Omar saw an incredible and unexplainable flying object as the Nimitz returned home from the Middle East. He would never be the same again.
You would never even think that any aircraft on our planet could even come close to our battle group. There's just so many defense systems that get lit off the minute one of these things are even approaching our vicinity.
If the military's prime directive is to prevent all enemies from entering a certain territory, and a UFO goes streaking through, then that is a threat of the highest priority.
Prior to the incident, I wasn't a big UFO follower or believer in the phenomenon.
But on this fateful evening, as the Nimitz approaches port, a sailor falls overboard, sending the crew into action.
We were trying to find out on the flight deck where this guy had fallen over, and they said man overboard, starboard side.
In addition to Omar Lara, 30 other crew are present for what happens next.
The sailor was illuminated by the spotlight from those who were handling the rescue operation. And that's when this object comes down from the sky at an incredible speed. It just stopped and just hovered there. It was oval, 40 feet maybe, size of one of our H-53 helicopters. Keep in mind, we're still off the coast of San Diego, so something is in basically our airspace and within the vicinity of our country.
The shocking UFO encounter stuns Omar and his shipmates.
The object had no exhaust plumes, no source of propulsion. It was completely silent.
Military personnel, they're trained to be observers, to identify different forms of aircraft.
When you see this object be absolutely silent, there's a disconnect there.
Even at a distance, you can hear a helicopter in the ocean, but this thing wasn't giving out sound.
scary encounters over restricted airspace have been happening for decades. There were unnerving sightings during the tense early days of the Cold War.
One of the most startling encounters took place in July of 1952.
Air traffic controllers tracked 6 unknown aircraft making their way towards Washington, D.C.
Numerous saucer-shaped objects were seen. They were captured on radar.
I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucers.
People on the ground described these objects as being bright orange, white-colored objects that slowed down and hovered over the city for a brief moment before changing direction and moving again in strange and bizarre ways.
The Air Force interest in this problem has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat or menace to the United States.
This incident had all the credible aspects. Highly trained radar technicians, people from all fields witnessing these craft.
After we have this whole media frenzy over it, now a sighting in the sky is a UFO and is quite possibly extraterrestrial.
As a result of this incident, the Air Force began to do significantly more research and investigation into the UFO phenomenon.
From the 1950s right up to today, the mystery and fear continues.
Any object, enemy, or anything drops into our protected airspace, for us to not be able to do anything to it is just an eyebrow raiser for those who are in charge of our safety.
Every nation has to maintain its security and then protect it from external threats.
But flying objects that we don't understand leave us powerless and vulnerable. Violating the secure airspace of Rafael Hernandez Military Airport in Puerto Rico, an unidentified flying object stuns onlookers, performing unbelievable maneuvers.
Customs officers at the Aguadilla airport were tracking an object via a thermal camera through the sky in Puerto Rico. It made its way over the airport and then over a city and residential area and eventually to the coast, where it sort of disappeared into the water, then popped back up out of the water and back into the sky.
The unsettling feeling of not knowing what is this, what's going on, only grows.
It's impossible from what we know of our capabilities. We don't have anything that can actually move like that.
So you have this sort of very compelling video footage of this bizarre UFO traveling both through air and water. The military looked at the video. You had several other organizations look at the video to try to assess what this thing was.
There's no genuine, credible, conventional explanation that anybody has been able to come up with.
UFO-related breaches around state-of-the-art warships, nuclear missile silos, and strategic military bases leave us open to attack and searching for answers.
People within the Navy and the Army are saying that they've seen something and have come forward because they believe that the general population should know about it.
These are trained professionals, and therefore, when they say something is happening, there's a level of credibility that needs to be respected.
On the USS Nimitz, Omar, Lara, and his crewmates are awestruck by the sudden and terrifying sighting of the mysterious craft.
This thing shot off to our right. There's no wind-up, nothing. It moves so fast that you have to turn your torso just to keep up with it. We would have our jets do flybys, and they would be at supersonic speeds. You could follow any one of our jets with your eyeballs. This object, we literally had to move our torso to just keep up with it.
Suddenly, the battle station alarm sounds, putting the Nimitz into high alert.
When you have unidentified aircraft violating airspace, there's a potential threat there that they're going to have to deal with.
I knew it was game time once they alerted to launch the Alert 6.
The Nimitz crew prepares to engage with a UFO.
It was not a drill. Everyone needs to report to their battle station.